I feel like identity, just like anything else, is kind of like a man-made structure meant to like divide the human race. Like when you separate yourself by like beliefs or like tradition, culture, you are kind of encouraging the division of like mankind. It's kind of like a necessary evil because like when you do have a certain identity, you do have your place in the world. There's like certain order. Now what is your identity? Now that varies because you have your own self identity and then you have the identity of which you identify with other people. Now both are based on perception, but they're both meant to create bonds within the society that we live in. Now, what defines me? Now, when it comes to your identity or like your definition of yourself, it all deals with like perception and how you define yourself, which can change dramatically over time. Now, when it comes to my ethnic background, I am Uruguayan and Mexican. My mom is from Uruguay and my dad is from Mexico, and that's kind of like the origins of where my family is, and that's kind of like completely different from culture or race, where you have race, which is like a completely ridiculous man-made structure that's like completely meant to divide the human race based on appearances, while you have culture, which is kind of like the way you're raised. So I'm kind of like a Hispanic culture, I guess, like influenced my life. And the thing is that it kind of like creates interdependence, which kind of like influences who I am as an individual. And also, when it comes to economic status, I am very lower class. My socioeconomic status is low, and that maybe could provide prejudice when it comes to future perceptions of myself. Now, something that I'd like to add, or another question that we're at, is what generation are we in? I guess me as an individual, and what stereotypes come from this generation. Now, since I am a millennial, it's kind of like this stereotype where we're like these narcissistic, lazy individuals, kind of just a detriment to society. When it's kind of like not true, I guess you can say we're a society that's been based a lot of I guess rapid technological changes, and that's something that has affected us. I feel like we do as individuals, because of our resources such as technology, are more aware of our capabilities and really do feel as though we have the ability to change the world. So I guess it's understandable what Joel Stein from Time magazine said, when they're so convinced of their own greatness. We literally have so much self-confidence and we're so blind to like bureaucracy, and we really do believe we have a sense of purpose in this world, which is why I think is kind of frowned upon by other generations. Now, when it comes to what is normal and why it's important to be normal, is that you see that our society creates these standards that we have to carry ourselves a certain way, behave a certain way, dress a certain way to meet this definition of normal. And if you're not normal, you will be ostracized and left behind by society. That is exactly why it is important to be normal. Of course, that's not something that I would be happy to admit. It's actually a really horrible thing, but that is the truth of, I guess, the life like the world we're living in, that you have to fit in. If not, you suffer. When it comes to I guess the way I view like gender and sexuality, I am a woman, so automatically I am a minority. And when it comes to sexuality, because I am a minority, i.e., woman, we're kind of like told that our sexuality has to be kind of like a two-way street. Where I personally feel like my sexuality, like, I don't have one. I don't identify with any sexual orientation. I feel like it's a waste of my time, honestly, because I feel like it doesn't. I think it's irrelevant to absolutely anything, and I don't feel like I need a reason to identify with a sexual orientation. Now, am I influenced to view the world in a certain way because of my gender? Yes. As a minority, you see that you are limited by opportunity. You live in this misogynistic, patriarchal world where women have like no say, and it's kind of hard when all you really want is fundamental human rights, honestly, equality. When it comes to the constructs within my life and how it's affected it, you understand that these social constructs are debilitating, and as a minority, I guess I do have a bias against maybe someone who isn't a minority. But of course, me as an individual, I would like to step away from bias. And lastly, why is the previous question important? Is because for you to acknowledge that there's a problem, like I said that wrong. If you want to like solve a problem, you have to like acknowledge that there is a problem. So in this situation, we have like our identity and how that can pose a problem to society, or as I guess the harmony of human life. If you don't understand that there's something wrong with the way you identify what is normal, the difference between socioeconomic status, the difference between identifying different cultures, that can create problems within our society. And it's important to realize these social constructs so that we do not I guess, fall victim to them. And that's pretty much my presentation on my identity. Thank you.